I'm going to make the most aromatic, full of flavour pork curry for you today. And instead of using diced meat, I'm actually going to use a whole roast. So we're essentially doing a braise. And what I've got here today is some scotch. After pork belly is my favourite cut of pork, and the reason for this is because it is so tender and moist once cooked for a long time. So the first thing we have to do is seal this off in the pan. Now sealing at this stage is really, really important because we want to get that nice caramelisation on it because that equals flavour. So a good seasoning of salt on all sides. What I've also done is asked my butcher to tie this pork scotch together, and the reason for this is it's going to hold its shape and keep that nice moisture in. So a nice hot pan, I've got some rice bran oil here. You can also use vegetable oil. Basically you want a low scented, not olive oil for this because you want something that's got a high smoke point and you want something that doesn't have too much of flavour. So once that's hot, it needs to be nice and hot, we're going to seal this on each side. Okay, so this scotch is looking perfect, nice and golden brown on each side. So it's time to take it out of this pot now, and we can start cooking off our onions and all our spices. And just if you can see in here, this pot, you can see it's all nicely caramelised here. That equals flavour. That is what's going to make this curry extra special. So what I've got here is some onions, and we're just roughly chopping them. This is going to be cooking for a while, so you want them to have still a little body. So we don't want to finely slice them, just roughly. So that's going into the same pot with that oil, that remaining oil there. With the onions, I'll add some mustard seeds and we'll give that a good stir. Make sure we scratch the bottom of that pan so we get all those flavours lifting up. We'll get some colour on there. Oh, it smells amazing at this stage. Right, so now we'll add the rest of our spices. So what I've got here is some coriander powder. I've got a tablespoon of that. I've also got 1/4 teaspoon of clove. I absolutely love that. What I've done is just grinded that slightly to make a powder. I've got some cinnamon, and I've got some cumin here, and some turmeric. Okay, so we want to give that a good stir and make sure we're scratching that bottom there because it can burn. So we're just going to turn it slightly. Yum. So now we're going to return our pork scotch into the base of that. Make sure that we cover that in all those nice spices, and I wish you could smell right now. I mean, all of those, the cumin, the coriander, that onion smells already like a fantastic curry. So to finish off, I've got some chilli paste here. I've also got some tomato paste, and just to round off all those flavours, some red wine vinegar. Yum. So we need some liquid for this. So I've got 200 millilitres of chicken stock here. And we'll place that in at this stage. We'll allow that to boil. And I'll add the last aromats, which is 3 cloves of garlic, which I'm finally going to chop, and some grated ginger. And I'll just grate that. All right, so that all goes in there. Right, so now it's come to the boil. I'm going to turn it down and we're going to pop the lid on, and now we're going to cook that nice and slowly for an hour and a half. So this curry is ready. The sauce is nice and thick and this is cooked. I can just feel it, that this is nice and tender. What I did is half an hour before the end of the cooking time, I actually added 2 potatoes. So what I'm doing here is just making sure that I take off all the string. Okay, so all that string's off, and now all we do is slice this, and you can see, I just want you to see this. Oh, This is why I love scotch. Look at that. I mean, this cut of meat is actually quite versatile. You can pickle it. You can just cook it on the barbecue. I think there's only one way to serve this. On a big platter like this, in the middle of the table, so everyone can help themselves. And don't forget all those, look at that gorgeous gravy. And it's thickened up nicely. I'm just gonna pour all over the top. This smells so good. Drizzle as much or as little as you like. Don't forget those potatoes. In and around that. Couple on this side. Just a nice little touch just to cool it down is a little drizzle of yogurt, and just to freshen it all up and just make it really vibrant and fresh, I've got some coriander leaves here. We're just gonna scatter that around like so. For that little tang, I've got some lime there. Look, you bring that to the table, your guests are going to be overly chuffed. Not only because they're trying a new cut of meat that's so tender and soft, but of course everyone loves a really good curry.